All right, hello everyone. It's strange for me because I can't see anyone, so I'm not used to that. But feel free to jump in at any time with any questions. It's going to be as interactive as you're interested in. I know the topic is titled TikTok. I'm actually not going to talk about the platform TikTok. So if you notice the spelling there, it's a little different. And the reason I have it that way is when I think about human trafficking and I think about the intersection of human trafficking and technology by TikTok, what I really mean is it's not only just a matter of time, but it's the time is now as far as what we're facing with our children and the ever-present reality of exposure to human trafficking. And when I speak about exposure to human trafficking, what I'm talking about is the recruitment, the actual trafficking of children, whether that's from a buying perspective or a selling perspective, or even the grooming stages that lead up to human trafficking. And so, as we talk about it, we really just have to think about this whole angle of awareness and how important it is, especially now, because technology has made the potential for human trafficking closer than ever. I mean, because if you think about it from back in the day, nobody would have a problem thinking, all right, human trafficking happens on the streets. It happens in motels, it happens in massage parlors. We've even learned over the course of working here in Orange County.
Hi, everyone. I'm so sorry. I think we're having a couple tech issues. I think that Bryan may have been actually booted out, so we're going to let him log back in, and he should be back in a minute or two. So hold tight. Sorry about this.
Okay, so where I left off is, look, the idea is this, that human trafficking is not far from your very own home. Why do I say that? Because it used to be that people would think, look, I don't live near a motel. I don't live anywhere where human trafficking is prevalent. There's no way it's going to affect me or my kids. And I want to ask you a question as to whether or not you've seen any of these apps on any device that your child uses or any child that you're familiar with. These are some of the most commonly used applications and technology platforms that are connecting our children to a world like they've never been connected to before. So, back in the day, as many of us were growing up, you were told, hey, don't talk to strangers. I mean, what were the chances that your child would get connected to someone that they didn't know? You went around the neighborhood, the access was very small. But in a world where our children are connected through technology to complete strangers across not just town, the state, the country, but even the entire world. The potential for human trafficking is there. And why do I say that? Is if you think of the definition of human trafficking, whether you're talking state or federal, here I'm just talking about the state level, it's causing, inducing, persuading, or attempting, just the mere attempt to cause, induce, or persuade a person who is a minor to engage in a commercial sex act with an intent, obviously, for to pimp them, to pander them, meaning to encourage them to sell themselves or to produce child porn. Now, is that happening today? Absolutely. And it doesn't require any force. It doesn't require any beating. It doesn't require any kidnapping. And this is the kind of thing that can happen from your very own home without you even knowing that it's occurring. I mean, when you think about the internet again, it's kind of funny because back in the day, we used to talk to people to find out what was going on. So I find this humorous. Hey, write an assignment. What'd you do this summer? I'm just going to check your internet profile. Ask yourself, does your child or a child have access to a smartphone or a tablet? Have you seen any of the apps that we talked about? Do you have full access to these accounts? I mean, if you don't even know they exist, that's one thing. If they do exist, are you aware of what they do? And do you have complete access to those accounts? Do you confiscate the devices at night? I mean, one way to help protect our children, I mean, if you're going to let them have access to these accounts, is to take the devices at night. There's, my parents always told me that nothing good happens at night. What benefit is it to your child to have complete and unfettered access to the world outside of their home at night? So there's all kinds of things that can go wrong with technology. I don't want anyone to misunderstand me. I am not against technology. We live in a world where you need it and it's made our lives so much better. However, we need to have be aware of the dangers on it and have the conversations with our children about it early and often so that they're ready for what's out there without scaring them, but also so that you as a parent are prepared to protect them. So one of the things I want you to consider is, have you ever looked at the privacy policy of the accounts that your children are on? Have you set those things to private? Have you limited the access of who can talk to your children or who your children can talk to in the app? So I'm going to ask a question to all of you, and obviously you don't have to answer, but ask yourself, how many friends did you have when you were the age of your youngest child that's on social media? And I'll dare to ask, how many friends do you have now that you actually know face to face in person? So is there any reason for a child, a teenager, to have thousands of friends? Do they even know who those people are? Oh yeah, you know them. It's a friend of a friend. That's very dangerous territory. A friend of a friend. And I'll tell you why, because one of the things that we've learned over the course of prosecuting human trafficking, and you see in studies from actual trafficked victims and traffickers have told us, and it's documented, it's well researched from Thorn, for instance. They did a survey in 2016, it was published in 2018. They talked to about 260 victims of human trafficking that spanned 14 states and 24 human trafficking organizations. And they talked about how technology was used to recruit them, and they were also expected to recruit someone else. So why are those connections dangerous to your children? Why does it open them up to a whole new world? Because when they say, yeah, I know him, it's my friend's friend, that friend could be a recruiter. So nobody likes multi-level marketing except for the person that's doing the multi-level marketing. There's a benefit in recruiting other kids. There's a benefit in recruiting other victims. And the connections are made, if not in person, initially it happens through social media. So think about the setting. So some things that you can do as parents or educators or people that can help with this problem is educate your young ones about privacy. It's okay to have your social media private. It's okay to turn off the comments so you can't connect with people you don't know. It's okay to only have friends on your friend list that are actually people you know in real life. So think about that. Um, Real quick, I know I said I wasn't going to talk about these apps, but I kind of do want to mention some things here. In case you don't know, the ghost looking one is an app called Snapchat. The blue one with the bird is Twitter. Obviously, the F is Facebook. Kick is it's like a text messaging app. YouTube obviously is YouTube. Omegle, that there's absolutely no reason for your children to be on Omegle. It connects them with complete strangers so that they can have conversations with complete strangers or be connected to complete strangers. The one in the bottom with the green is WhatsApp. And then obviously there's Instagram. So some things to think about is Snapchat is not really, it doesn't really disappear. Your kids may think that they can send things privately and it'll disappear. No one will find it. That's absolutely not true. There are so many ways that they can be saved and shared. So another big thing that's going on is people sharing, basically sexting. I want to say there was a study done where 50% of females have either been asked to or have shared some form of sex pictures of themselves or received them from someone else. It's kind of strange because in today's culture, it's almost a natural thing in the progression of boyfriend, girlfriend, or significant other relationships of teenagers. That if you love me, you will send me these pictures. You will take these pictures. What's wrong? Don't you trust me? No one else will see. We all know that that's not true at all. And so these are part of the conversations to have with your children, just on the appropriate boundaries of their body and the things that they're asked to do. So for instance, if anyone asks them to take pictures, anyone asks them to share pictures, that's just never an okay situation. Because the transition from that to human trafficking is very easy. Human traffickers will groom your kids or groom their victims to develop trust and a relationship with them, to where the next progression is, well, if you love me, if you trust me, will you do X for me? X is often child porn or a sex act for money. And believe it or not, it happens really quick as far as the grooming process. I'm going to share with you later on at how quick that grooming process happens. But because of social media and technology, the access to your children, that grooming can happen much faster than it did back in the day. It used to be that trafficker had to have face-to-face interactions. Now, because our kids are living online with Zoom and school, I mean, they practically, that is their real world, living online. So they get very close very quickly to someone online, someone they think is a close friend because this person listens to their problems, somebody who hears all the horrible things they've been through, someone who tells them they love them and encourages them and gives them all the connection that people crave. And then it's not far from that point to the trafficking or the child pornography or the sextortion or sharing of intimate photos that you can never get back. I mean, we know that people spend enormous amounts of time in front of technology. And think about what can happen in an internet minute. How much actually happens in 60 seconds? And if people are spending an average of 10 hours and 45 minutes per day online, that is a whole world of trouble ahead. Yes, there are health consequences related to living completely online, aside from the dangers that we're talking about. But these are real things: cyberbullying, trafficking, being kidnapped, becoming a victim of sexual abuse, losing your privacy. You may be hacked or have a predator involved. I like to show this video not to scare anyone, but to see how quickly things can turn for the worse.
Bryan, I don't think we can hear the video.
Okay, well, that video has to do with somebody creating a fake profile to meet children online with the permission of parents. What ends up happening in that video is the parents, with their consent, see how far their children are willing to go as far as meeting complete strangers. And in that video, the meetings happen and the parents are there and they're completely shocked at how quickly their child would meet somebody who they don't know, thinking that they're someone else. With that said, that person on the other end could be a trafficker, could be a pedophile, could be a kidnapper, could be a rapist. All the while, your child thought it was somebody they could trust, somebody that they befriended over the course of a month, several months, or a year. So something to try. I don't know if you've ever tried this, but have you tried to Google your child's name? Have you tried to Google their social media? What about anyone from their school? Just to see what's out there. Because if it's out there, you can be sure that somebody that wants to target your child will have access to that information and be able to use that information to get to the needs, likes, wants, or vulnerabilities of your child. So that's why privacy settings, the different things that you can do to talk to your kids and protect them is very important. Now, this is a case that's very close to home for us. I know Sergeant Revelis is on here. This is a case that we worked here in Orange County. It involved a man by the name of Ariel Guizar. You see him there. And he recruited his victims primarily from social media. He was an internet star as far as social media is concerned. And that is his primary form of recruitment. The victim in this case gave an interview. I did speak to the publisher of that interview, and they gave permission for us to use it. And I want you to hear what she has to say about social media and your kids.
Unfortunately, we can't hear this one either, Bryan. I don't know if it's muted on the PowerPoint. I think you might have to exit out of the PowerPoint, someone's saying, and then make sure that we can hear the audio. Try playing it from there and see if that works. If you're exited out of the full screen mode, maybe.
Is that better?
No, someone's saying that you need to click share audio when sharing the screen. But I think that might be on my part. So I need to make sure that they can hear you. I think you have to stop sharing first really quick. Maybe stop sharing your screen.
Okay.
Okay, and then when you go to try to share again, I think there's an option that says share with audio maybe.
Thank you.
Yes.
For the first time in years, Bianca says things are looking up. She escaped from a man in early February who she says pimped her out for years. Police arrested him days later. His name is Ariel Guizar, but he's known on social media as Shy Boy.
Do you call him Shy Boy or do you
I call him Shy.
You call him Shy?
Yeah, that's what everybody really calls him. They know him by Shy.
The teen tells us she met Guizar on Instagram when she was just 15 years old.
I came across his tattooing page on Instagram and saw he had a lot of followers, and I liked his tattoos, so I would like his pictures, and then he started liking mine, and he would comment on my pictures, and we exchanged numbers.
Unhappy at home and after years of being in and out of the court system, she ran away, agreeing to meet up with the then 33-year-old man, thinking they would have a relationship. I asked her when it all changed.
He would have sex with other girls, in front of me and stuff like that. So I was just okay, it's not like how I thought, but I don't know. And then that's when he had his friends go to the hotel room and have them basically do whatever they wanted with me. And when I told him about it, he didn't care.
It was that same day in a motel in San Jose when she says she first started prostituting for him.
The first time I worked for him, I only had probably about 5 to 8 guys a day.
Would you like the assistance of an attorney, Mr. Weezer?
Weezer, seen here in court, is charged with pimping a minor, pandering, forcible rape, along with felony drug and weapons charges. In response to questions about his charges, public defender Milani Bartholomew gave us a no comment. Police say Weezer advertised Bianca and other girls on Backpage.com and his social media accounts.
I'll be posting videos soon.
We found posts on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and Snapchat. Bianca tells us he posted a video of her with a client. She tried to leave, and he forced her to stay.
So I told me that if I had anybody try to pick me up, that he would kill them before they took off with me. When I started working for him again, it was up to more than 20 guys a day, because he would tell us, you guys have to make $1,000 and then you guys could go to sleep.
When asked why she agreed to do this interview, Bianca says she's worried for other girls like her.
Because if a guy loved you, he wouldn't have you having sex with other guys for money. He would be the one that wants to be your only one.
For the first
So the question I have is, would you let your child develop a relationship with adult strangers in real life? What about Ariel Guizar? All the men that you see pictured there are part of what I'm saying to all of us, is that the internet is now a part of our real life. It's not another life, it is real life, especially for our children. The 5 people that you saw pictured there, as there was a press release on February 2nd, 2021, our task force, along with our office, have charges against all 5 of those men involved in trafficking in one way or another of a minor that was found through the internet. And so the fact that one girl, 5 guys, just gives you a taste of what the problem is out there. Obviously, he has a right to a trial. He's presumed innocent. All these men are presumed innocent until found guilty. But as of today, those are all charged people for crimes alleged to have happened against a minor. And one thing we can tell you is that our Supreme Court here in California has helped solidify the fact that there are people out there that target minors knowing that they are minors. How do we know this? We know it, so we know from victims, we know from suspects. We also know from the fact that the Moses case taught us that we have undercover officers posing as minors, and they are getting recruited by traffickers. Traffickers who know they're minors and intend to traffic them as minors. They don't happen to be minors in the real world, but the Supreme Court said that counts as human trafficking in California. Why do they do it? So why is this danger here? You're all familiar with the idea that the love of money is the root of all evil, and I want you to hear it from
the most profitable criminal activity you could be a part of.
Are more guys turning towards pimping because of that?
Yeah.
And are more gang members turning towards that?
It's not so much that it has to be a gang member that turns to it. It's
Just people in general.
it's just glorified.
Anybody who wants money?
Yeah, it's glorified through music, through movies, through everything. It's glorified. It's looked at as high profit, easy way.
It's looked that way in the black gang culture, right?
Yeah.
You guys.
So the next set of material I'm gonna share with you is we have talked to self-admitted traffickers, and they've let us into the lifestyle, the motivations, why they do what they do. And so that way you don't think that it's just us assuming these things. So when it's high profit, low risk for capture, they will find and traffic anyone. And what do they sell your kids and my kids on?
Give you all money.
More money than.
Let me ask this way: when you're selling that dream to her, do you care if she ever realizes that dream, or are you doing it for you?
More so for me. It means I don't have to go get a job. It means that I'm covered. Prostitutes make more money than, I'd even say more money than a lawyer. A good prostitute makes more money than a lawyer. Makes more money than a doctor. I've seen them bring in anywhere thousands a day.
But all that money typically goes to the tip, right?
Yeah.
So the dream is, look, you can make more money than a doctor and a lawyer. And when your children are being groomed, they're sold on a dream.
Give you all money.
You got to be able to make her feel that you're everything that she needs, everything that she needs, wants. And there's a bigger, better plan if she collaborates with you. You can't just be just an average Joe, like, hey, yeah, come work for me as a prostitute, and we're gonna go rent a motel room tonight. You got to set her up with the dreams and goals that, all right, we're gonna have a house, we're gonna get more bitches, and then you're gonna be able to relax. We're gonna get cars, we're gonna get clothes, we're gonna get everything. It's a glamorous life. It's when you hear it in songs, when you hear it on movies, when you see people like Don Juan, it's kind of like you could tell he has a lot of money, or else he wouldn't wear those suits like that.
So you gotta sell them.
So this is all part of that grooming process, and why it's so scary if your kids have unfettered access to the internet after hours, all times of the day and night. The grooming process happens really quickly. They're sold on a dream. They're making a connection with someone, tells them they're special. They have a place in this world. They're valuable. They can make something with their life. They can make lots and lots of money. And at the end of the day, you're doing it because you're making me proud and I love you for it. And that connection, that all happens so much faster. It's on steroids when you have it going on online. So by the time they meet in person, it's easy.
you use internet much? Like, I don't mean like Backpage or whatever, but like, what about Facebook or other apps like Tinder or?
You telling me something now?
No, no.
What you mean by that? Like to recruit girls?
Yeah.
Of course, that's social. I mean,
Tell me about Facebook. How do you recruit like on something like Facebook?
It's not really Facebook, it's Instagram.
Okay.
Instagram is more pictures, you know. You can follow one prostitute, but she got 1,000 other prostitutes that's following her. So now you her friend now. You can look at her friend list. I used to going down, scrolling down, just clicking on there, seeing what they're about, seeing what they making and what they doing, where they at, and how they lifestyle going. And you know, you send them a friend request, and you probably send them a little message. So now you got their attention. You know, now they going on your page. They want to see what you about now. They want to see what type of lifestyle you living in. Are you making more than what they folks is making? You know, they might choose up through that. There's a lot of guys that knock some girls off Instagram just from putting up pictures of money, you know, flashing their clothes, their jewelry, you know.
So this has to do with the idea that, you know, I said a friend of a friend, they might be recruiting through a friend. They're using social media to check out and scout who they want and who they can connect with. And that's why having private settings or only knowing who's on there is real important. At the end of the day, being connected to your children really matters, because listen to what one admitted trafficker has to say about one of the most important ways they get to someone.
The most common thing I've run across, and I'm going to tell you something, I'm not trying to be funny. If you got a daughter, stay in her life. Because a lot of these girls don't have fathers. They look for guys like us for guidance, to be told what to do. Somebody looking for love in the wrong place. You know, they want to be wanted by a man because obviously their father wasn't there or never gave it to them. So they're looking for that. They want to be told what to do by another superior force. Not trying to be funny, but that's what they're looking for. You know, they're looking for guidance. You know, and that's where we come in and say, that's why you paying me for my guidance. I'm guiding you to this right path, and you need to pay me for it.
So if your kids are spending more time with a person like that than they are with you because they're online all the time and you have no idea who they're talking to, that's the kind of person we have to worry about. There's a great article, check it out. It's by Melanie Hemp on why social media is not smart for middle school kids. The whole idea is that their brains just are not yet mature enough to use it appropriately. And we see that all the time. This came out on, can I use this one, Claire, or?
In this hour, we're going to be praying for the youth of America.
Did you say youth? What is a youth?
How many hours a day would you say that you spend on social media?
Around 3.
Like 6 or 7 hours. At least half the day, 12.
12 hours!
Oh gosh, what does that mean?
I use my phone incessantly.
I'm so attached to my phone, it's almost embarrassing.
Like, I never put it down.
Do you think that social media has done more harm in the world or more good?
I think it can be used for good, and like it has done good things too.
It does bring a lot of issues to light that people normally wouldn't see.
I see so many beautiful things on social media.
4 teens were arrested in the murder of a 17-year-old at a bowling alley in South Carolina. Now, when they faced a judge Thursday and saw the cameras, they asked for followers for Twitter and Snapchat.
Yeah, I got a question. What are these cameras for?
It's the news media.
No, I got a question.
Oh, the news media? What's up, y'all? You follow me on Twitter.
Follow me on Instagram, Luca Braxton Jr.
Snapchat.
I think that little bit helps show on that article why social media isn't good for especially middle school kids, because they're all about excess and finding their identity and getting people to like them and follow them. And as you can see in that video, it's like somebody's accused of murdering people or murdering a person. They find out social media is, they can spread out and get more followers potentially. So that's kind of the draw too with the lifestyle of prostitution sometimes, the glamorous life of, they might not want to tell people they're involved in prostitution, but they want to have the nice nails, the fancy clothes, the good-looking boyfriend, and they get to publicize all that on social media. So it's all ripe for a human trafficker to take advantage of that kind of a mindset. So you might think, well, my child's too young. You know, they're not even 12 yet. Well, earlier I was talking to you about that executive, that survey that was done, where 260 survivors of domestic sex trafficking, they said about 75% of them who entered starting in 2004 or later were advertised online, and 1 in 6 of the 260 started under the age of 12. So it's happening younger and younger. Even though we know that the average age of entry is 12 to 14, just from this small group of 260, 1 out of 6 of them started at age 12. This is what I was talking about earlier, that the grooming process happens quickly. 42% that 42% of those surveyed said the trafficker earned their trust within a month of meeting. 28% said it was about 4 months. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, that's not a long time. And we've seen that come true also in our real life cases. This statistic helps us see that the majority of girls that are being trafficked are asked to recruit other people. And from those surveyed, 71% had more than one victim as far as their trafficker. So this is why the friend of the friend isn't a good idea. Hey, I'd like you to meet my boyfriend. That boyfriend is often the trafficker. So how can you help? Obviously, awareness, prevention. We've talked about some steps you could take, like learning about the social media, learning about the settings, confiscating devices at night, having the conversations with your children early about appropriate body awareness, appropriate behavior online. Never take pictures or share them to anyone. Anyone that asks is not a friend or a boyfriend. Meeting somebody that you don't know or a friend of a friend isn't a great idea. One thing I need to cover really quickly is video games. I know we've talked just about social media, but parents and educators, you really need to remember video games is another way that your children are connecting with strangers. I personally have cases where the person was connected to the predator via a video game. Because think about it, your kids are playing video games. Who are they talking to from around the world? Who are they connected to? Oh, I'm talking to, Bob 1234. He's 14, Mom. Don't worry, it's okay. Are you sure, Mom, that Bob's 14? Because of digital things like that, they can receive gifts and presents through these online platforms. So they might get in-game gifts. They might get gifts through Amazon. They might get gifts in whatever video game they're playing with this person. And it's not far for that grooming process to lead from one thing to another. So you might not have thought about how video games are also a way. It's not just Instagram. It's not just Snapchat. It's not just those areas. Video games are also a platform. So how can you help? Awareness, prevention. When we talk about action, asking if someone's okay. If there's evidence involved, don't delete it. Absolutely do not delete it. Save it and document it so that when you report it to law enforcement, we have something that we can work from. Oftentimes it gets deleted. You don't want to see it. You just block the person. The problem might be a lot deeper than your child tells you, even once you've discovered it. So that's something that we've seen where the child will say, oh, it only happened one time. I only knew this guy for a month. When further investigation will reveal it's been going on for years and there's all kinds of evidence. So asking if they're okay, don't delete evidence, save and document, and then report. If it's an emergency, call 911. And you also have the National Human Trafficking Hotline that runs 24/7. It's toll free, it's confidential. There are over 200 languages. You can call, text, and there's even live chat. An interesting thing that I also learned from that survey of those 260 victims, they said, they would have liked to have known that there was a way to get help. They just didn't know there was. And one of the comments was, a teacher would have been a great person to tell me, hey, are you okay? If you're in trouble, text, call, or check out this hotline. I know we have very little time, but are there any questions?
Hi, I have a question.
Yes.
Okay, so I mean, as a parent, it's a lot to take in, and I've been my heart and eyes have been really opened over the last couple years because I have a 10-year-old and a 13-year-old, but I see the community is so unaware, right? Like crazy unaware about what our kids are facing. And this year presented an increased challenge. But what I've also noticed, and you're here in Orange County, correct?
Yes.
Okay. The burden of proof right now, and I'm just going to speak real with you, I believe is put on the parents and the children and the educators. But we're passing laws that aren't serving our children right now. What can we do from a legal standpoint? Because in Arizona, they just passed a law that if you're going away for life if you get caught with doing any of this. How can we strengthen the punishment? I don't know if that's a conversation here, but I feel like obviously as parents and educators, we have to do better. That's going to happen. The prevention is huge. I'm here because I connected with Dr. Morgan and she's inspired me to just get involved. But I feel like sometimes our hands are tied because, you know, they just passed a law here in California that made it easier on sex offenders. So what can we do in that capacity? Is there anything currently getting worked up on a local perspective? Because I do believe that is part of the conversation that needs to be had.
In California, I mean, I understand there is something now for tiered sex offenders, sex registration. However, as far as the trend towards punishing human traffickers, it's been to increase the penalties. So I think what we found is pretty much nationwide, nobody likes human trafficking. So fortunately, at least in the area of human trafficking, it's one of the areas where we can still get state prison. We can still get sex offender registration. We can still get a lot more penalties than we can for a lot of other crimes. But in California, the trend seems to be, and this is the voters really, the voters are not increasing penalties. So, you know, I don't know what the political side of things will do, but in California, it has not been successful to increase penalties pretty much across the board. However, for human trafficking, back when Prop 35 passed, it's remained and it's still pretty strong for human traffickers. And if you look at the case law that I mentioned, the Moses case, that was a great win for us because the interpretation on the human trafficking is that even attempting to solicit someone who isn't even a minor counts as human trafficking in California. So that's a great win for us, a great interpretation of the law.
Bryan, we had a couple questions regarding if you could share the video, the danger video that you had wanted to show earlier that didn't have any sound. Would you be able to share that again?
I could. It's long. It's 5 minutes though, so I don't think we'll be able to finish it in time before the next thing. I can try.
Yeah, you're welcome to. And then anybody who needs to leave can leave if they need to.
And we have a break right after this.
Oh, we do? Okay, then I can definitely share.
Yeah, that'd be really helpful.
I think it's I think it's a scary video.
That's okay. We're grown-ups.
Oh, sorry. I need to share screen.
And make sure it has the audio when you share it, and then you should be good.
Okay, thank you.
What's up, guys? I'm Kobe. What's up, guys? I'm Kobe Person. How easy is it for a pedophile to pick up an underage child using social media? Well, today we're gonna find that out. I made a fake profile on Facebook posing as a 15-year-old boy. With the parents' permission, I friend requested 3 girls ages 14, 13, and 12 years old. I've been talking to these girls for the last 3 or 4 days, and today we're supposed to meet up. What we found in this video is shocking and something everyone should see. Be sure to watch until the end and use what we've learned in this video to better educate your friends and family. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. This first girl, her name is Michaela. She's 13 years old. We've been talking on Facebook for the last couple of days, and we're supposed to meet up at the park later when her parents leave the house. I'm just waiting right now to get the text that her parents have left the house. So I just got a text. My parents just left. I can be at the park in 10 minutes. We're gonna go see if she comes in 10 minutes. We're gonna go right now, set up all the cameras, and just be waiting there for her. So she said she's gonna meet me at the park playground. So this is the closest to her house, she said. So right now I'm texting her that I just got here. All right, we'll just wait, see what she says. She said, okay, I'll be there in 5 minutes. Oh, she's coming, yep. Michaela?
Who are you?
From Facebook. Do you remember?
Michaela, are you crazy? Are you out of your mind?
Sorry.
He could have been a rapist. He could have been a pedophile. Why would you do this?
Sorry.
Yeah, you know that I could have been anyone. Like you talked to me for the last 4 days. You've been talking to me on Facebook. Do you know that? Like, you shouldn't talk to strangers, especially online. Like, I wasn't even do I look the same as my picture? It could be even worse than that.
You realize how scary this could have been? Man, we have to talk.
This next girl, her name is Juliana. She's 12 years old, and we're supposed to meet up tonight when her father falls asleep. But right now I'm here with John, who's Juliana's father. We're going to see if she's actually going to come to the door or not. She said, this was the last text, LOL, I would have to wait till my dad falls asleep if you want to chill, because I can't have boys over. So she wants to chill tonight, supposedly. What do you think about that?
I don't think she's going to open the door. Gotta hope she doesn't open that door.
What's your address?
I pray she does not respond to this.
Well, I can't say the address, but she literally just texted the address. Start driving to the address close by. My dad's going to drop me off. All right, so she just said, I think my dad fell asleep. You can come now. The one with the light right here?
Yes.
I'm outside. Come to the front door. Are you ready? Some chill.
Juliana, get over here. Get over here. What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you?
I'm sorry.
How can you do this? You're 12 years old. This guy's 20 years old. You could have been raped and murdered. We already lost your mother. What would I do if anything happened to you? What would I do if anything happened to you? I love you. Don't you ever do this again. Don't you ever do anything like this again.
I'm sorry.
This next girl, her name is Jenna. She's 14 years old. We've been talking online over text message and even had a phone conversation. So right now we have the parents of Jenna. Jenna thinks her parents are going out tonight for date night. She thinks my brother is going to be driving, so she's going to get in the car, but she doesn't actually know that it's all just me. So I'm going to text her right now. Did your parents leave yet? Yeah, like 15 minutes ago. Do you think she's going to go through with this?
No way.
Absolutely not. I don't even believe it's her. You might want to have friends playing around with her.
What's your address? All right, is this your house?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, let's go. All right. We are here. Come out. You don't think she's coming out?
She better not be coming out.
Oh, I see a door opening.
Yeah, please.
Yep. I see someone. Shh. Can't believe this.
you Daniel's brother?
Yeah. Hop in. He's in the back over there.
Jenna, stop. It's your mother or father. Jenna, look, turn around. Turn around. Turn around. How could you dare go into a stranger's car?
What are you thinking? Just explain.
Give me your phone right now. Give me your phone now.
What would have happened if you came out and it wasn't us sitting back here and there were really crazy people back here?
We never would have saw you again.
We watched movies together. We've looked at newspaper articles and the news about all these things are real life situations that have happened. And we've discussed them. What, you think it's fine to go try it out on your own?
But what happened if this van would have drove away and it would have been 3 strangers sitting in this car? Huh? What would you have done? What would we have done when we didn't have our daughter anymore?
You understand, you probably thought you were talking to a 15-year-old. You didn't even know what was happening, did you? You just got in like that. You were going with everything I was saying. You understand now. Just never ever do that again. This will teach you a lesson forever. Your whole life. Make sure you guys follow me on Snapchat. You can see all the
Okay, that's it, everyone. Thanks for dropping by. Hope you enjoy the rest of the conference.
Yes, thank you, Bryan. And if you guys have any more questions for him, you can still use the Whova app and go to the Q&A section of this particular workshop. So if you have any questions, just put them in there just since we didn't have time to get to them. But thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Bryan. God bless you and protect you for the good work you do.
Thank you.